Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in the city of Westfield. And if you're looking at the shipyard thinking, we never put a shipyard in our city before, where's the shipyard coming from? It's from the episode that I just recorded that crashed, and then, I lost the recording. So, what we've got is I'm going to go review the things we built in that episode, and then I'm going to just kind of shift the episode for today to something totally different because I already had saved the game and wasn't able to go back and undo the things I had already built. So, in the lost episode, the second lost episode of the series, we've got a new shipyard that was placed here. This is pulling goods from all of our industries across the city, and we actually, in the last part that is missing, got to see a ship be built. So we'll keep checking in on this throughout this episode today, and just wait to see one of the ships be built. They look just like the cruise ships. They don't actually leave this building here. Once they're made, they just disappear. But it was pretty cool. It was neat to see the ship. So we built this here, and that is pulling the goods from our industries throughout the city. Over on this side of the city, we replaced the harbor that was here, and instead, the cargo harbor that was here, and instead put it in a harbor. I realized in the live stream the other day, we never had just like a regular tourism harbor. So now this area here has this tourist harbor. We reconnected up some of the bus lines. It feeds directly over into Davies Point, which is already an area focused on leisure. We've got the cargo port right here, and people are coming in and out here. Lots of tourists are using this now, which is awesome. And it connects over to our amusement park. So lots of things that people can do just from using this cargo harbor. And then we did one final change because we got rid of the harbor over there. We changed this. If you remember, it was just originally a cargo rail line and had no access to the water, but now we have this set up so that it's actually a cargo hub and is able to send goods out of the city. There is a little bit of traffic in this area, but just like with any other cargo port that we have in our city, there's always bound to be just a small bit of traffic in the city itself. So those were the three major things we did in the last part, and really the idea there was just to get more people and tourists into this area and build something we never built before, build out this final factory. There are a few we still haven't finished, and we might place them today, but this was the final one that I was really hoping to build, and to get this one you have to have all 5 stars of the other types of industry. And then we just kind of upgraded this to something a bit more useful for the area. It is sending tons of traffic this way, but I think it's going to be just fine. So what we're going to do today, instead of what we already did today, is try to address this new issue we're having where there is not enough workers. So I think what's going on is, in the live stream, we had placed a lot of these buildings, the monuments. So we've got the Eden Project, we have the Medical Center, we also have Fusion Power Plant, and really the Eden Project takes the land value of your city and just throws it through the roof. So if we look, basically every single part that there are buildings in the city is the highest possible land value. $108 is the average land value. And because of that, all of our businesses and all of our industries are upgrading. And because they upgraded, they need more people to work there. So what we need to do is kind of meet that massive demand we have down here for people. There's not a lot of places left in the city that I want to build. If we kind of scroll around looking at the side of the mountain here, we've really built everything we can up to where the mountain becomes, particularly steep. We don't want to build up on here. That just wouldn't look that good. And otherwise, there's not a lot of other places we could fit. I mean, we might be able to put some more residential over in this way, but even still, if we turn on these contour lines, it's still pretty steep, and I don't know if I want to do anything there. There is one place I did find in our city right over here, directly across from our farming industry, and what were these places called? Rosewood Square and Rainy Flats. There is this area here on the other side of the highway and the train track that is actually very flat. And a tiny expansion to this suburban area could do well over here and bring in some more people to our city. So what I want to do today is just do a final expansion of our suburbs, filling in this area here, which I think is really going to fill out all of the flat areas of our map and give our city the people that it needs so that all of our businesses aren't starting to go out of business or complain about not enough workers. What we're going to do is I'm actually going to remove this interchange and we're going to put a road underneath and kind of expand the avenue across the other side. One thing I did do in between parts is in the description, and for every episode this has been the case, but in the description are links to my mod and asset lists that I use for this series. And I finally went through and with the help of some of the people in the live stream the other day, figured out how to see what mods I wasn't using. So I went in, removed all the mods from my mods and asset lists on Steam that I wasn't using and just updated those so that now you're only, if you subscribe to those lists, getting mods that are actually in the series, which I think is much better because there's no reason to download things that you're not ever going to use. So let's go ahead and keep this sticking to the ground. And what I want to do is I actually want to bring, I'd say what, like 26? That's where it says it's going underground. So let's do that. And I want to have this come underneath and we'll turn all those into bridges. The rail line and the highway. Now it might need to go a bit lower. We'll have to see. But if we send this underneath just like this, we then have an avenue. Let's keep contour lines on. Yeah, we then have an avenue that can really kind of connect this whole area up. And I'm thinking it would be two sides. We'd have this side here that we'll fill in, and then we have this side here that we could probably even really fill in over to this point if we wanted, because this is a little divot, but we might be able to kind of change that around. So we might do a touch of terraforming to make all this work. But with that, let's let's turn these into bridges. So we'll just elevate all of these guys. So if we change this, do we think that's enough? That's probably not enough. And actually you have streetlights going right through. So what we'll do, we will lower this road, I think just a bit, but let's go ahead and upgrade this rail line to a bridge as well. Just like that. Yep, perfect. Okay, so then what we're gonna do, let's take all the nodes of this avenue that are here, flat on the ground, and let's lower until at least the light, can I try to see it from this angle? I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to see this from here, but I guess we do have a pole right there too. So I wanna be able to get the light underneath. But probably like right about there is pretty good. And then what we'll do is we will take these three nodes and we'll go ahead and slope them so it's not as intense. And then we're just going to do like a normal diamond interchange for this. I don't think it's going to be a super heavily trafficked area, and even still with the interchange we had here, there's not tons of traffic that come to this side via car. A lot of them will use the boats or the plane that's right here, so I'm not too worried about this becoming overly crowded or anything. So let's try to get this all connected up. It actually doesn't look too bad. So we've got this connected up here. I am going to just kind of do a little bit of smoothing for some of this land because some of this is a bit crazy. Let's just lower the intensity down. We'll bring this brush up a bit. And I just want to make it so that, because at least for this area where it's bridged, we can kind of make the land a little bit more sloped, a bit smoother. But now we've got decent connections throughout. Now I do think this is a little hectic. So let's go ahead and just kind of smooth these 3 points so that this on-ramp is a little bit easier to navigate. Yeah, that looks much better. And then for this side, this didn't do too bad, but I think we could also smooth this guy out just a bit. Much better. Okay, great. So now they're just a bit smoother. All right, so we've got a connection here and an interchange. So now we can go ahead and fill in this area. So we're going to jump into a quick time lapse as I go through and just do a little bit of a road layout. Okay, so I think that is how we're going to lay this area out. Now, I did leave this little bit here. We could actually have maybe included that somehow, but I like how we just barely cut into the cliff on this side. There's still a little bit of change in height for some of the roads, and like this particular cul-de-sac is a little bit lower than the rest, but I think that looks pretty good throughout, and it's a good use of space. If we look at the zoning, like we've really covered this area pretty well. So I did leave some larger areas. Like I do think that maybe one of these could be a little park or something, but let's first go ahead and get this all watered up. So we're just going to bring everything down from this center line here, and then I'm going to follow along the outskirts first, and we will, just because this is one of our last expansions, we'll make it look nice and clean, and we'll follow all of the roads. We've got this all connected up with water. Now let's go ahead and get some power over here. I'm going to use this Suburban power line. I think this is one of my favorite assets for this entire series. So we're just going to send this right across and through the highway. And then it'll go right over top of our train lines, and then we'll bring it into like kind of this area here, and then we'll connect from that section up, and it will all start powering things through. Where are you going? There's nothing over here yet. Terry Clark, leaving the city. Well, this is not the best way to leave the city. Speaking of leaving the city, do I have this all set up right? You come out, this goes in, you can come out, and this goes in. Okay, perfect. Let's just, for the sake of keeping this functioning the way we want, let's change all of this into, we'll raise this, into 2-lane roads. Let's turn on anarchy. Make that a bridge again, and then we'll keep this here to the ground. We'll keep this to the ground. We'll keep these to the ground, and then we'll raise up the bridge section in the middle. But now we've got 2 lanes, so there's a clear exit lane that comes off. You can go out this direction, or if you wanted to go back onto the highway, you could come up from one of these roads. Okay, perfect. All right, that is working correctly. Now let's figure out, let's go ahead and make this a district, and let's figure out what we want to call this area. All right, the game gave us Strawberry Square. I'm fine with that. Let's see, do we want to make any changes to policies? I do want to give this the European suburbia just so it matches the other surrounding areas here. And let's go ahead and we'll do recycling. We will do recreational use. We don't really need to do schools out. Do we need to do schools out? No, I think we're fine. We can leave it. We can leave school in session. We'll do prefer parks because we will make a small little park in this area. And then if we do reduce this mail accumulation by 15%, let's actually, for the entire city, policies. We're not really making money just yet, but I do want to add free Wi-Fi for the entire city. Okay, so the free Wi-Fi is going to reduce mail accumulation by 15%. And that's going to go for the whole city. It's going to cost us some money, but if we come over here and look at this port, you'll notice all of these blue trucks, there's many of them, are all mail trucks. So if we can reduce the amount of mail our city's producing, the better off we'll be. This is halfway finished. We're still waiting on some glass and some metal. Looks like some things are coming off the cargo port right now, so that'll be over there soon, and that can get going. So let's now jump back over here to Strawberry Square, and I think let's outline the park first. From there, then we can start doing our actual, doing all of the zoning. I think this little piece here is kind of the best spot for a park. I was going to do this square, but I want to actually have a little bit of business here. And I think I want to keep that as close to that main road as we can. So let's go ahead and just connect all this up. We have a tiny little park in this space. And let's do a little bit of zoning throughout, and then we'll go in and decorate our park there. So all of this along this main avenue is going to be a little bit of commercial. We won't do anything here just because this is such an intense slope, so we'll leave that blank. But then the rest of this is mainly going to be just a little bit of a residential hub. So let's go ahead and just fill in all of these. We'll fill in this space here. We're going to go right up against the mountaintop, just like we did in Far Water on the other side of the map. We're just going to fill all of this with some low-rise residential zoning. Now these houses might have a little bit of a problem with noise just because of how close they are to that train line. But then again, the train line only comes once in a while, and it's not an actual train hub. Here, let's pause it. If we check, we've got a train coming now. Where's noise? Noise pollution. Yeah, it's really not that bad. It's momentary. The more of the noise is coming here from this airport, and we've got some walls on our highway here. But I bet you, if we came in, where's our? Oh, you know what? I accidentally deleted our Westfield one. Let me quickly remake our Westfield brush. Okay, I remade our Westfield brush. Let's go ahead. Can we turn on the noise and just add trees here? Will we see a decrease in the noise? Might take some time for that to take effect, but if we put a little wall of trees here, then we're just protecting the highway and all the residents of this area. It does look like it does kind of do a little bit of work there. Yeah, I think that did a little bit. It looks like it's pushed it back some, so that's perfect. So now we've got a nice, quiet neighborhood here. It's starting to zone. They don't have power. Let's go ahead and try to get that power over to them. If we kind of cut right through here, we'll just go along. It only, I've said this before, but it only takes away zoning on the bits that the actual poles sit, so we will still get houses underneath here. All right, and then did we finish the other side? No. Let's go ahead and finish this other side as well. All right, so now we've got all this connected. We've got Pearl Park. Let's make sure this has services too. Now, there are some things we don't need to worry about as much. So like for healthcare, although there's nothing here, the average healthcare of our citizens is 100%. We have one sick citizen just because of the monuments we've built, but we're still going to put some of those services in the area just because it fills out the town a bit. I mean, I even think, yeah, even without them, their land value is absolutely insane. Average land value is 78, but if we come down here to an area that has some more services, 131, 95, 129, 114. Well, Rainy Flats is like really an expensive place to live. All right, let's see. Let's start with our medical stuff. So we'll leave this open. I think we could put, oh, here we go. Why don't we put this along this road here? So it's just off that main road. It doesn't really reach to the farthest outskirts, but that's not a big deal. We do have this little pharmacy we could put down. Let's put a tiny pharmacy on the corner. Covers a small area. We will need some death care here, and I do think I want to use a cemetery just because it seems to be what would be in this area. I don't want to put it too close to any of the medical buildings, so maybe we'll put it, actually this is a nice spot for it, maybe along one of these edges. Let's put it right here. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. So we've got a medical center, we've got a pharmacy, and we have a cemetery. We also are going to need some fire over here. Let's put it here. So it's facing the business center, and it's not going to, again, cover the whole area. That's not a problem. I don't think this is going to get big enough to need to worry about too many of these services being used. We will put a small police station. This, I think, backside here, is that residential? No, all this is business. All right, then we'll plop the police station right here in the middle. Education. So school, there's none over here. There's actually not many even over in this area either. Let's put one small elementary school. We'll put it on this side since this side is a bit larger. And then if they live in this area, they can just go to this tiny elementary school. I do think we'll skip a high school for now. So if they want to go to a high school, they'd have to maybe go. There's one down here. Yeah, we'll skip a high school for now. We'll just put a small elementary school, and that's going to help get some more people moving into this side of the city as well, or of this town as well. And then before we do public transit, let's lay out our tiny little park, because I think that's going to dictate where we want the bus to stop in relation to our park entrances. So we'll do a small entrance here, because that's closest to the downtown area. And then we'll do a small exit or side gate. We'll do one over across the way as like a cut. We'll do one on this side, and we'll do one over here by this road here. So this area is going to be the nicest place to live in this whole little town of Strawberry. And then we're just going to kind of loop this around. Do we want to? We have all this turned off. Can we make a tiny little turn? No. Okay, we're going to do all of this with this, the freeform tool, just so that we can really get some nice curves. There we go. All right, let's get all this connected up. We will use the tree line path. I think that just looks the nicest. Let's go ahead and use the freeform tool, and we'll send it up to this 4-way intersection. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so let's try to get this a little bit leveled up here. We will do... Let's put this guy over on this side. That is not where that was supposed to go. Let's fix this path. See, I want to get rid of those little white lines. There we go. So we're going to place this side. There we go. And then what is this guy? This is the cafe. So we'll put a cafe. That's the main entrance. So I kind of want to keep some of these services kind of closer to the main entrance. If we put this guy here, this is the info booth. We'll put this at the start. Right when you come in, there's an info booth and a bathroom. And then maybe in the center area, we will have let's do a bathroom here. And right next to that, we'll put the cafe. And then we also have, this is the checkerboard or the chessboard. So we'll put a chessboard. Now this is where it's going to be challenging because these are just so large. I don't know if these are going to fit anywhere. Or we could just fill in this area. Let's see what it looks like if we put both of these next to each other. It's a little busy. I don't know if I love it. Let's try to move this. We'll turn it this direction. We're just going to kind of shimmy it a bit more here into the corner. And then I think with just a little swipe of the tree brush, we're going to clear some of these out in a second, but I want to just kind of fill it in first with trees. And then we'll come back in and we'll remove a few of them to give some open spaces for people to sit and people to do like picnics and things like that. Get rid of that rock. We'll get rid of these guys here along the edge. I do think we need a bit more along the edge, so let's actually just do some ourselves. There we go. So now we have a nice little park there. Again, this whole area does not have enough workers, but we still have tons of open zoning. So that's going to hopefully bring in way more people to this section. And then that's going to help kind of answer some of the needs of the other parts of our city. How many people live here right now? We've got 467, and there is still, I mean, tons of open zoning. We've got a little park here, but we don't really have a park on this side. I think we go for the tiny dog park. We've got a few flat areas where this could go, but I want to make sure it's giving the best coverage it can. Here it does still reach that final edge, so let's place it right here or next to, no, there's a hill there. We'll place it across the street. We'll place it right there, covers this entire side, which is great. And then let's go ahead and think about public transit. So we don't really have any kind of rail connection. The rail stops here. Yeah, the rail stops here, and there's not really a good way to feed this over into this area. I guess we could kind of get rid of this pocket of business and send the rail line underneath. This is, I don't want to connect to this cargo line. Maybe we'll just do buses. We could send a shuttle directly to this spot. If we started here with the shuttle stopping directly in front of this area and immediately coming over to this kind of downtown area. What route does that take? Okay, just kind of loops around, comes over. That's not bad. All right, so we'll come over here. Actually, let's stop it kind of right off of the main avenue, because then we can send it over and around. No, this will stop here. It will stop on the back side of the business. It will stop in front of the park, and then it's going to connect right back over. The whole purpose of that line is just to get people that live in the downtown area or live in Strawberry Square to the Rainy Flats train station and the airport. Then they can move from there. Then this area will have its own dedicated bus line. So if we have a bus, kind of comes around and up. Let's do 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5-ish. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to kind of keep it along the outer edge. Yeah, we send this over this way. This is all kind of a one-way, so that's not going to work too well. Actually, back it up again. Let's send it in this way. Now it's in front of this dog park and closer to the cemetery. We'll send one up, and we'll come around this side. Kind of start playing here in this downtown area. We'll go, do we want to go up this whole way? Do they get smiley faces all the way up? No, it does stop. Okay, so we'll place one here. Then we'll come down. This is now just kind of covering the periphery of this area, which is not a problem. But it wasn't exactly what I was envisioning, but we could kind of connect this up next to, here we go. We'll connect this kind of next to the other stops that lead to the other side of the highway. So we'll connect this here, and then let's just do the exact thing, just in reverse. So we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll come down this way, and do the exact thing counterclockwise. Do we have a stop? Yeah, we have one there. We've got to stop here, 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 and then we're back to the beginning. Oh, perfect. So now we've got good connectivity for bus. We don't really have any other kind of connections for this area, like taxi or any of that, but I haven't done enough of those throughout the city for that to be useful. And then if you want to come over here, you can take the direct shuttle into that area. Now, as with a lot of our other areas in the city that we've been building, because there's already a need for workers, the workers are filling the immediate needs, and these new businesses, since they haven't needed workers as long, are not getting the jobs they need filled. So this is gonna take a while to kind of correct itself, and even still the demand is for business and commercial, but we really don't need it if our businesses are going abandoned. So we just kind of need to let this area build itself out and get that population. We have lost 3,000 people, surprisingly. We could do a little tiny bit. So like, let's see, this here is destroyed. So let's go ahead and put a tiny little, they're abandoned. We'll do small pockets of high rises or high density. And I will put actually the policy so that we don't get anything that's too tall. We'll do that high rise ban, but I will put a few small buildings and really try to see if we can pack maybe a few extra people into this area. Does this tell me how many workers are needed? Displays ratio of zone types for the district workers. 424 are needed, and we have 183. And I think the population is starting to go up pretty quick. I think as we get some high-rise buildings in here, we'll definitely see the population meet the needs of the workers in this space. But that, I think, looks really nice. Let's turn off all those little markers. Yeah, it's a nice way to fill out this side of the city and just kind of cap off this section. All right, let's go look. Did we miss the chance to watch our boat be produced? Oh, we did. It just finished. All right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this run until we get another boat. That way we can see what it looks like. And then I think that's probably where we'll call this part here. All right, we've gotten as far as we're going to get with this boat. So this is kind of where the shipyard finishes, and we're getting all our goods delivered. And once this finishes and reaches the ship, we will get a little bit of boost in cash, and then this boat will just disappear. It doesn't actually leave the harbor or anything. But this is what that ship looks like. This is one of the coolest assets, I think, in the game. It would be even neater if it, like, let the ship just, you know, row its way off the map, but we'll do what we can. We'll take what we got. I think this looks fantastic. And let's go check on our town over here, Strawberry Square. So we still have about 470 jobs available, but almost 300 workers have filled those jobs, with about 2,700 people living in this area, which is awesome. Now, there are still some problems with buildings going abandoned and not having enough workers, but all in all, things are going well. We even have some high density residential. And with that, I think that's where we're going to leave this part. If you enjoyed this episode, go to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one.